Andrew, I have been looking for a voice or IP offering that could be, a two-tiered kind of offering, whereby I could have a high-quality service and I pay a higher price for it, and at the same time, with the same provider or the same link, have perhaps a lower quality service which could possibly be for free. I've been looking for this two-tier service for the last several years, but obviously I've not been able to find it. Your solution does exactly something like that.
Yes.
Is that correct? Can you tell us about the capabilities of your solution?
Yeah, I think what you're describing generically is the is the domain of the emerging category of service delivery router, which is a new category intended to manage individual subscribers, but also the services that they consume. And the Zeugma services node, which is our product, combines high-performance computing with carrier-grade networking. Its whole objective is to dynamically apply policy on a per-flow, per-subscriber basis, so that subscribers can choose exactly what you've just described, whether they want to consume services in an enhanced manner or whether they just want to consume them on a best efforts basis.
And obviously this is, not just for voice, but video and all the other applications that you can enable for a service provider.
Exactly. Any quality-sensitive service has theoretically got the opportunity to enhance its delivery, and consumers should be given that choice. If I may, I'll just outline the results of a survey that we undertook with IDC, where they polled approximately 1,000 US-based subscribers about whether they would, first of all, like to have over-the-top web-based video services delivered to their living room, and predictably the majority said they would because of choice, content, flexibility. The second question, however, was groundbreaking, and that was, would you be willing to pay extra on top of the cost of the video to have that video delivery enhanced so that you could receive it and watch it pretty much instantaneously? We found that 56% of all respondents said they would. 70% of respondents in the age 18 to 34 category said they would. So this is a really interesting piece of information that suggests that subscribers are interested in exactly what you just described.
Okay, on the multi-tiered services that you enable, we've come across various different technologies in the past. I mean, there was some I would say academic level interest in technology called RSVP. What do you think happened to those sort of technologies, and why were they not implemented all these years? And also an added question would be, what is your underlying technology? What's it based on? Is it based on MPLS? What exactly is it?
So the RSVP and other attempts to do exactly what you've just described typically fell short. Typically fell short for a number of reasons. Probably most of all is that they required the entire networking ecosystem that was in the path of the service to support it. Therefore, you required a lot of vendors to get with the program. You required a lot of out-of-band signaling associated with each network element to deliver that service in the appropriate fashion. These things are enormously complicated. Your second shortcoming with that type of service was the available technology at the time had a tendency to actually mess up the service delivery more than it enhanced it. The Zeugma services node, on the other hand, is an inline device that uses this combination of high-performance computing and deep session inspection to identify the service and use the service itself as the signaling, so that what we actually do is we support application-driven quality of service, application-driven bandwidth on demand. In so doing, we support all the major protocols that are required to do this, either to to operate in conjunction with an existing subscriber management device in the network, or to take over the active subscriber management component in the network as well.
Okay. What kind of applications are driving traction for your product? I mean, obviously the service providers right now are very concerned about various video delivery formats, and how they classify the services and the quality, etc. Is it primarily the video that is driving traction for your product deployment right now?
I would say so. I mean, video is clearly the driver of bandwidth capacity. And so it's at once the most threatening service that traverses a service provider's network, and the one that presents the most opportunity. So you can dynamically apply these policies that we've just described to voice, to video, to gaming, any service that's quality and latency sensitive, the subscriber should be given a choice as to how they receive it.
Okay, and any IPTV service providers that you're working with that might potentially want to mix over-the-top video like YouTube and the paid content or live TV?
We're developing an ecosystem of partnerships, none of which we've announced yet. But you can be sure that we are working with a number of the leading vendors in that regard.
Okay, and in these deployments that you have with the service providers or the trials that you're going through, are you finding any potential overlap with solutions or platforms such as session border controls? Because session border controllers also do some level of policy control, for instance, or dynamic policy, etc. Do you see any potential overlap with those boxes, and also things like SCIM within the IMS architecture? Any overlap?
I do see ultimately overlap. I think that what you're starting to see is certain session border control functions are starting to be subsumed within edge routing platforms. That's a matter of record. Session border controllers contain a lot of complex technology at the moment. So I think they'll continue as a standalone product category for the time being. As it relates to IMS, I think that one of the great opportunities for adding value to an IMS architecture with the Zeugma services node is to perform various resource submission and control type functions that are specified within IMS, but collapse those into a single device, thereby reducing cost and complexity, because these are the things that have caused IMS to roll out slowly. If you could reduce the cost and complexity of your IMS architecture, then I think that you could afford more rapidly to deploy it. And this is one of the reasons why we're engaged in active discussions about applying the Zeugma services node to those functions within an IMS network.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Good luck with your product.
Yeah, thanks, Jay.
Thanks.